You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 8th of October. UK-India ties in focus as Starmer begins landmark visit. Higher tariffs on Indian goods to partly slow South Asia's growth next year, says World Bank. And World Bank cuts Pakistan growth forecast amid flood fallout. And now for all the details. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has arrived in India for his first official visit since taking office, seeking to reaffirm and expand the strategic and economic partnership with New Delhi. In a post on X, PM Modi welcomed his counterpart in India, and Ranveer Jaiswal, India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson, described the visit as a new chapter in UK-India relations grounded in mutual respect, shared goals and economic ambition. His two-day visit comes on the heels of the recently signed UK-India Free Trade Agreement, seen as a landmark deal aimed at deepening commercial and cultural ties between the two nations. Speaking to business leaders in Mumbai, Prime Minister Starmer described the FTA not merely as a trade document but as a launchpad for growth.
This is the biggest trade mission that the United Kingdom has ever sent to India. Academic institutions represented, brilliant universities. Obviously, this is a two-parter, if you like. We had Prime Minister Modi over to the United Kingdom earlier this year to sign the FTA, the free trade agreement that we agreed, and today is the return leg of that, if you like. As you quite know, Secretary of State, that FTA is really important for us. It's the biggest deal that we've struck since we left the EU, and I think it's the biggest deal that India has ever struck, so hugely important.
In his strategic soft power diplomacy, the UK Prime Minister visited Yachraj Film Studio in Mumbai, a prominent Bollywood production house. He was accompanied by actor Rani Mukherjee and YRF CEO Akshay Vidani, where he engaged in cultural discussions and attended a private film screening. The visit will culminate with bilateral talks between UK Prime Minister Starmer and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Mumbai, where both leaders are expected to finalize a timeline for the ratification and enforcement of the FTA and discuss global and regional developments, including security, climate policy and digital regulation. And rescue operations in India's northern Himachal Pradesh state intensified on Wednesday after a landslide triggered by continuous rain struck a bus, killing at least 15 people. Officials said heavy rainfall over the past 2 days caused the disaster. The landslide-hit bus mangled wreckage was found on a mountain road as teams dug through the debris searching for missing passengers. Widespread rain across the Himalayan region this week has led to severe flooding and landslides, claiming 23 lives in India's Darjeeling and 50 neighboring Nepal after continuous rain triggered flooding and landslides that swept away homes and roads.
अभी तक की स्थिति के मुताबिक तो जो बारिश दो दिन से लगातार हो रही थी वो एक बड़ा कारण रहा है जो इतना बड़ा स्लाइड आया है एकदम। अभी भी घटनास्थल पे बचाव कार्य चलाया जा रहा है।
ऑलरेडी यहाँ पर टीम्स 15 डेड बॉडीज को रिट्रीव किया जा चुका है, 2 लाइव विक्टिम्स को रिट्रीव किया जा सकता है, एक और जैसे इंफॉर्मेशन गिवन बाय लोकल अथॉरिटी एक और विक्टिम यहाँ पर स्टिल मिसिंग है, जिसको ऑलरेडी हमारी टीमें लगी हुई हैं यहाँ पर, और उसको जब तक कि वो नहीं मिलेगा तब तक हमारा ऑपरेशन कंटिन्यू चलता रहेगा।
And the World Bank on Tuesday said that higher tariffs on Indian goods exported to the US would drag South Asia's economic growth rate in 2026, even as it remains shielded in the current year by government spending. The economic growth in South Asia, comprising India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan and the Maldives, is expected to slow sharply to 5.8% in 2026 from its projection of 6.6% for 2025, said the World Bank. For 2026, the forecast has been downgraded as some of these effects unwind and India continues to face higher than expected tariffs on goods exports to the United States, the World Bank said in its report. US President Donald Trump imposed a 50% tariff on most Indian exports in August 2025, affecting around $50 billion worth of goods, mainly textiles, gems, jewelry, and shrimp. In response, Indian government implemented major tax cuts across sector to cushion the impact. The US, which accounted for about 1/5 of India's exports in 2024, will now see tariffs affecting nearly 3/4 of Indian goods. Moving on, in a serious economic outlook, the World Bank has slashed Pakistan's growth forecast by 0.5 percentage point from 3.1% to 2.6%, citing the devastating impact of ongoing floods, with inflation now expected to spike to 7.2%. Pakistan's exports are also projected to drop by 1.5%. The report also reveals at least a 10% decline in Punjab's agricultural output is expected, with staple crops like rice, wheat and cotton taking a major hit. The World Bank has also exposed Pakistan's major policy failure. According to the latest World Bank report, removing barriers to women's employment could skyrocket Pakistan's GDP per capita by up to 30%. Instead of seizing this opportunity, Pakistan continues to bury its educated and talented women under layers of regressive norms, outdated gender roles, and cultural suffocation. In a world racing ahead with gender parity and inclusion, Pakistan remains stuck in the past. Moving on, Pakistan, a nation where the press is not free, where the press freedom is nothing more than a slogan and telling the truth can get you killed. Across the world, journalists are respected, protected, treated as vital pillars of democracy. In Pakistan, journalism is not a profession, it's a death sentence. We have a report.
In Pakistan, journalism is not just under threat. It is under attack. The journalists protesting are not just faces. They are truth tellers. They are demanding a special law to criminalize attacks on media workers, protection units for field reporters and accountability for perpetrators, whether it is the state or civilians. These journalists also alleged that within the media, there's injustice. When a Sindhi, Baloch, or Pashtun journalist is killed, there are no primetime shows, no headlines. And yet, the media continues to rise. They continue to resist. From Karachi to Quetta, voices are being raised. But those voices keep getting silenced, one by one.
देखें, जब भी हम फील्ड में उतरते हैं साफ़ी की हैसियत से जब काम कर रहे होते हैं तो बैक ऑफ द माइंड हमारे यहाँ यही फेयर होता है, यही डर होता है कि यार ये स्टोरी कर तो रहे हैं लेकिन इसका इम्पैक्ट हमारे ऊपर क्या आएगा। तो कुछ स्टोरीज को हम लोग उस तरीके से नहीं कर पाते, डर डर के स्टोरी करनी पड़ती है, फैक्चुअल फिगर्स हम नहीं दे पाते, उस स्टोरी को खुल के बयान नहीं कर पाते क्योंकि हमें अंदाज़ा होता है कि स्टोरी होने के बाद हमें धमकियाँ आएंगी या हमें हैरेसमेंट का सामना करना पड़ेगा। तो पाकिस्तान में इस तरीके से काम करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है, हमें भी मुश्किलात का सामना करना पड़ता है, हमें एहतियात से काम करना पड़ता है, हम खुल के बात नहीं कर सकते अपनी रिपोर्ट्स के अंदर। खुले होते रहेंगे। साफ़ी बरादरी ने तो हमेशा से आवाज़ उठाई है एहतजाज के ज़रिए, मुजाहरों के ज़रिए, लेकिन इस बार भी मुझे लगता है कि इससे बरक्स भी साफ़ियों को कुछ करना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट से बात करनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल एक कड़क लहजे में बात करनी चाहिए कि भाई इस तरीके के वाक़यात जो पेश आ रहे हैं ये कब तक आते रहेंगे, कब तक हम लोग अपने दोस्तों को इस तरीके से गंवाते रहेंगे।
And vehicular movements in the southern plains of Nepal are back on track, with businesses slowly returning to normalcy as floodwaters recede after days of mayhem caused by heavy downpours last week. People in the region are replacing damaged items as they return home. The late monsoon rains wreaked havoc across Nepal, mainly in Bagmati, Madhesh and Koshi provinces, with the nationwide death toll reaching 61 on Tuesday evening. Heavy downpours began on October 3, with some parts recording over 330 mm of rainfall. Despite slightly lower overall rainfall than last year, destruction was severe due to ultra-localized heavy rains. The monsoon in Nepal, typically active from June to September, reactivated during its withdrawal phase, triggering the recent downpour. The Himalayan nation had earlier braced for above-average rainfall, where the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority projecting that nearly 2 million people from 4,57,145 households could be affected by monsoon-related disasters.
गाड़ी जो पानी पा रहा है, ये पानी से बहुत धन जन को क्षति हुआ है। इसमें भी हमारे पालिका में भी विभिन्न सड़क सब जो है आने जाने वाले बाटो सब उस सबको तोड़ फोड़ दिया है और खेती किसानी को भी बहुत क्षति हुआ है। घर में भी पानी पड़ा था, उस सब को भी क्षति किया है। अभी फिलहाल सामान्य होने जा रहा है। अभी विस्तार पहले के अवस्था में अभी के अवस्था में कुछ फ़र्क है, पानी के लेवल कम हो रहा है, अभी फिलहाल ठीक है।
मैंने बस्ती सब में लोगों को रहने के लिए और बाल बच्चों को या चाहे खाने पीने का सामान जुगाने में जो कठिनाई हुई है, इसके वर्णन कहाँ तक किया जा सकता है, वो शब्द नहीं है उतना जो मतलब आपको मतलब बताएं कि ऐसे हुआ है। बहुत कठिनाई से लोग जूझ रहा है अभी, और जनजीवन इतना प्रभावित हुआ है, जहाँ तहाँ मतलब आने जाने के लिए रास्ता टूट गई है, पुल टूट गई है, और मतलब लोगों का घर रहने के लिए नहीं है, लोग मतलब बेघर हो गया है, और इतना कठिनाई हो गया है जो मतलब लोगों को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि अब हम लोग अब क्या करें।
That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.